Cauldron of Thorns by Twin Tribes is comprised of 3 different sections. Across those 3, we are going to cover 2 guitar parts and 2 synth parts. Before jumping in, I would like to extend my gratitude to my patrons on Patreon. It's your support that allows me to continue to create this content to share across these platforms. I appreciate you and I appreciate your time. Thank you. As always, we will be subbing out picking amounts and rhythms for language. 1 hit will be bean, 2 hits will be taco, 3 will be burrito, 4 will be quesadilla when and where applicable. The methodology behind this approach is that it will trigger when changes are going to occur, and it'll also let us bring in speed in a more fluid fashion, and it'll let us play more naturally. The intro and the refrains consist of 1 riff, and here it is at full speed. When tearing something apart in order to put it back together, it's really helpful to observe its structure. This section consists of 8 bars in totality, with 4 chords, each getting 2 measures each. We'll have A minor, F major 7, D minor, and E minor. Something that really sets this off is how he's embellishing all those chords and the voicings that he is utilizing. So the very first chord that he has is A minor. However, it's not actually A minor because he's using the open second string. This open second string is B, so it makes it a sus chord. And he's going to start adding that B and mixing it with that C to go from sus2 to regular old A minor. If you were looking to integrate this kind of sound into your own playing, it'll go a long way for you to be able to recreate it. I'm not sure if he's actually thinking about it in this way because it's a very guitar-esque thing for us to do, to go from one embellishment to the next. From Stairway to Heaven, when we have the D chord, he does sus2, the major 3rd, and then sus4. So again, it's just a very guitar-esque thing. Whether he's thinking about it in this manner or not is inconsequential. So as he starts this, we want to visualize that A minor chord, because what he's going to keep the entire way is his middle and his ring finger on the 4th and the 3rd strings of the 2nd frets. So he's going to go from the 4th string to the open 2nd string back to the 4th string. That'll be 3 hits, that'll be burrito, and then he's going to hit 0, 1 on the 2nd string from B to C. Burrito, taco. After he has that group, burrito, taco, he's gonna walk up the 3rd and then the 4th string, burrito, taco, and then he will let go of that 1st fret of that 2nd string again, and he's gonna hit 2nd, 4th, 2nd, 4th. It'll happen 2 times. And then to cap it off, after 0, 4th, 0, 4th, he's going to hit 0, 1 again on that 2nd string from B to C. And then he's going to hit the 4th string to that 1st fret on the 2nd string. So that whole thing is going to come in on the and of 1. In fact, every time that he hits a new chord, he will come in on the and of 1. So it'll be 3, 4, 1. Burrito, taco, go up, quesadilla, taco, and first. That brings us to the second half of this phrase, the F major 7 chord. However, the big thing regarding embellishments and voicings from earlier applies here as well. And it's that he's not actually using a regular F major 7 voicing where we have the major 7th on the top. Instead, he's going to keep that same A minor shape. And the way you can think about it is that it's just A minor. But if you really want to get into what's happening, because that synth bass is pushing this F throughout the majority of this part of the phrase. And he took that major 7th and then put it as the root. And we're essentially playing an F major 7 without a root. Pretty hip, pretty cool. And it really takes this sound and makes it more ambiguous. And again, the reason that these concepts are helpful to know is that if we're trying to recreate them in our own writing, or if we're trying to transcribe more of their work or someone else's work, this kind of stuff happens very, very frequently in a multitude of other genres. So nonetheless, what he ends up playing over it, he goes from the 4th to the 2nd string, back to the 4th string again. But this time, since he needs that C, he's using that 1st finger on that 1st fret. And then after he hits that group of 3, burrito, tortilla, he's gonna let it go, and then he's gonna hit the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th and walk it all up again. Burrito, tortilla, burrito, let go, and then he's gonna grab this pinky finger on the and of 4. So he's still, again, coming in on the and of 1. 1, burrito, tortilla, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and right here, he's gonna come in on the and of 1 with his 4th string, 2nd fret, and then he's gonna hit the open 1st string and come back to that same 4th string. 1, burrito, and then right after he hits that, he's gonna use his pinky again on that 3rd fret, that D of that 2nd string, and he's gonna hit 0, 3, 0, back to the 4th string, and then your 1st finger on the 2nd string again. So that whole F major 7 section coming in on the and of 1, 3, 4, 1. Tortilla, then burrito, let go, and 1st. So here's that entire 1st phrase, the A minor to the F major 7, and still coming in on the and of 1. 3, 4, 1. Burrito, taco, and then quesadilla, taco, and now burrito, tortilla. Here's burrito, let go, then 1st. When we get into the 2nd phrase, the last 2 chords, the D minor to the E minor, the majority of the heavy lifting is already done because the voicings, the A minor to D minor, because of the intervallic relationship between those 2 chords, we don't have to do anything different except compensate for a different string set. So what I mean is when we play a D minor chord, we're gonna have the same idea that your right hand had, except now it's going from the 3rd string to the 1st string. Everything that you did from that A minor chord in regard to the picking pattern is gonna be identical in the D minor chord. The E minor chord. When we get into the 2nd half of these phrases is where we see him utilizing more interesting voicings. So again, the bass synth is gonna be drilling and implying an E minor chord, but he's gonna be using a G major voicing. He'll have 1, 2, and 3 from the 2nd string 3rd fret to the 4th fret on the 3rd string to the 5th fret on the 4th string. G, B, D. He will end up adding his E on the 5th fret of that same 2nd string, and then that's where the E minor comes in. So because this voicing is intervallically different from the open chords, it will have a different picking pattern, but the rhythm pattern is going to be identical to the A minor and D minor chords. So when he starts this, it'll be from the 3rd to the 2nd, and then he's going to go up to the 4th string. 3rd, 2nd, 4th. And then after you grab that 4th string, and we do burrito, taco, the taco is going to be from D to E, the 3rd fret to the 5th fret on the 2nd string. And then after you hit that 5th fret, you're going to walk up as you did before from the 3rd to the 4th string, and it'll be burrito, taco, walk up. And then that's when we use the 3rd fret on the 2nd string again to bounce to the 4th string. Quesadilla, and we'll do it twice. And then we'll do taco, 3rd fret to the 5th fret, taco, and then we're gonna finish it by hitting the 4th string to the 2nd string again. So that whole E minor part is gonna be coming in on the and of 1. 1, taco, and then quesadilla, taco, and pinky. The verses don't actually have any guitar in them, so should you not want to play this part, you can omit it and jump straight to the chorus, which you'll knock out almost immediately because it'll be the easiest part in the entire song. The synth bass parts in the verses are really going to establish the tonality in the refrains because it is the same exact part played across both sections. So this will really serve to clear up the ambiguous nature of some of those embellishments and those voicings that we heard in the guitar parts in the refrain. We're going to outline our chords in a very straight up manner, a lot of roots. So the way that I am playing this and how I transcribed it, so that way I don't have to alter my tuning, I am playing everything an octave up. If you're trying to keep everything in the actual synth bass octave, then you can drop your 6th string to B and it can be achieved there. And you'll only have to slightly modify the chorus. The first 2 chords, A minor and the F major 7, are going to have the same exact rhythm pattern. So everything that we'll do from the A minor will carry over to the F. I'm playing this at the 12th fret of the 5th string. You can also grab it in other positions. You can grab it on the 7th fret of the 4th string, should you like. But when I'm transcribing something for a different instrument, I like to keep the tonality the same the entire way. So I kept it all primarily on the same exact string. So the 12th fret 5th string, we're gonna ride this out with straight 8ths until we get to the and of 3 in the 2nd measure, as in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and when we hit that and of 3, we're gonna grab the 15th fret on the on the 5th string, which is C. So this is drilling in that A minor tonality like we were saying earlier. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then I go to the 8th fret on that same 5th string. Here's F, same exact rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then I grab D on the 12th fret of that 4th string. And then when we get to D minor, the easiest part, we ride this out for 2 measures, straight 8ths, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now when we get to the E minor, we're gonna do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and for the first measure, all E's on that 7th fret of that 5th string, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're gonna grab the 8th fret until the and of 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we'll finish it out with B on the 7th fret of that 6th string. Second time around, I play everything the exact same way that I did the first time, except for the last measure of that E minor chord. So when I play it the first time, I'd play C and B on the 8th and 7th frets of the 6th string, and the second time I play it on the 3rd and 2nd frets of the 5th string. Does change the tonality, but it lets me switch to the refrains and the chorus is easier. So the first time I play it in this position, 2 and 3 and 4 and, so I can restart easier. I have less distance to travel. And then the second time I'm closer to the refrains, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And I'm closer to the chorus. The chorus is bar none the easiest part, pun unintended, but I wish it was. And because it's so straightforward, I'm not gonna do a playthrough of this first. So we'll have an F major 7 with the C in the bass. So we'll have frets 3 on the 5th string and 3 on the 4th string, and then 2 and 1 on the 3rd, and then the 1st fret of that 2nd string. Then we go to E minor, and then A minor. The F major 7 will get held out for 1 measure, as will the E minor chord, and the A minor will get held out for 2. So altogether, it'll be 1, 2, 3, and then we switch, and 1, 2, 3, and then you switch, 1, 2, 3, and then you stay 1 and 2, and then the thing repeats 4 times. And then you go into the refrain. If you were going to drop the 6th string to play that synth bass part in the actual octaves, then one thing that you could do is just not play the 6th string in the E minor chord. I'm not 100% sure if he does anyways. It makes a lot of sense for him to have C, B, A. So he might be playing that E minor chord from the 5th string down regardless. But that is the only alteration you would have to make should you want to drop that 6th string. The lead synth part in the choruses is really cool, and it can be used as an exercise in addition to just being able to figure out what they're doing, so that way we can understand the layers that they're incorporating into these sections. Here it is in its entirety. So as all 3 of those chords are going in the chorus, this is outlining a single chord, A minor. I'm playing it in this position with E, C, and A from the 12th fret of the 1st string to the 13th fret of the 2nd, and then the 14th fret of that 3rd string. I've also changed my effects a little bit. I'm not using delay anymore, and I'm using a little bit of dirt. If I'm holding out that whole chord as a block, it's a lot of dirt. But this is where the exercise nature of this comes in, where I'm sweep picking up and I'm really releasing my fingers as I descend this shape, so that way they don't ring out against one another. And not too perfect effect, but again, why this is like an exercise. And I've really been using it in that same kind of method in my playing across other genres. Like I've been dropping this into my gypsy jazz licks a lot, because Django does stuff like this all the time. But nonetheless, so we have this phrase. So it's gonna be 3rd string, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. I'm sweeping, but you can pick this in any way that you would like. Down, up, up, up. So that way I grab my ring finger on the 4th string, 14th fret. And then 12, 13, 15 on the 2nd string. On the 12, 13, 15, I'm alternate picking all of it. And we are gonna have that pattern repeat 3 times in a row. On the 4th one, after we descend that pattern, we're gonna go to the 4th string again, but then we're gonna grab F on the 13th fret of the 1st string, and then the D on the 15th fret of that 2nd string, and then E on the 12th fret of the 1st string again. So essentially we just swapped out the 3 notes on the 2nd string for 3 notes string skipping from the 1st to the 2nd to the 1st. So that's going to repeat in its entirety 3 times in a row. If you're referencing the tablature, when you look at the 4th grouping of this, the 2nd system to this lick, if we take that phrase, because one whole repetition is a phrase of 4 measures, but 4 can be broken down into 2. If you're thinking about this in that regard, then the first half of that subphrase will be exactly the same. But on the downbeat of the second half is where we will see a little bit of a change at the end. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. We're gonna grab B on the downbeat of 1, And then on the and of 3, we'll grab the 13th fret, and then the and of 4, we'll grab the 10th fret on that second string. So you can grab that same A right here too on the 3rd string. There's a bunch of different ways that you can finger and voice a lot of this stuff. Player's poison, but at least this way you have a jump start to what it is and what is happening. These 2 notes also set up that super cool synth lead line that goes into, I think, every refrain that occurs after the intro. I didn't actually play this in the playthrough that I did, but it's cool to know, so that way you can use it and again understand these different layers of harmony and really how they're using only a handful of things to really, really great effect. And it's a calling card of a lot of their music. It's really simple and extremely effective. Thank you for joining me. If you like this video, give it a like, leave me some feedback in the comments, let me know what you think. I have a lesson breaking down Monolith by Twin Tribes. I cover all the sections, the synth parts, the guitar parts in their entirety. I'll link it in this video should you like to check that out. I have a handful of lessons that I have planned to cover Twin Tribes music and quite a few other things too. It'll all be coming to my Patreon as my patrons exclusively get looks at all my content first. Thank you for your time, enjoy your day, and be safe.